Hey everyone, welcome again to Mastic Radio Control Submarine Base, where today I'm going to present you with a short video of the very first inspection of the USS BLUEBACK since I received her from Rich Colebrecker after she had spent some 59 days submerged in 8-foot or greater water at the North Lake at the US Submarine Base in Groton, Connecticut. I thought it would be a nice little hey, let's see what happened video so I can share it with you guys and discuss a little bit of what I think happened and how to prevent it. First off, I want to thank the sailors in the MWR, the U.S. Naval Submarine Base in Groton, Connecticut, for their assistance, as well as Joe Oliver, who doggedly pursued them, as well as Rich Colebrecker, who saw it fit to bring the model directly to my house after he received it from the MWR crew. Also, I want to thank Rich for this very nice custom-made stand that he built for it while the sub was in his possession for less than a week. Thank you all. First off, it was on September 10th, 2016 that BLUEBACK headed out for patrol only to be never seen again. At least until 59 days later or so, or just shy of 59 days, when two sailors in a canoe was traveling over the somewhat drained lake, because they drain that lake at the end of the year, and they spotted sitting calmly on the bottom in the upright position, as if she just decided to settle there. Rich cracked it open, of course, while he was waiting for me, and he saw no signs of moisture after he cleared away the algae on the pressure hull. We're going to open it up and inspect it, of course. Here's what I suspect happened. First off, after the repair to the model, that morning, I suspected the trim should be the same, but I was wrong, obviously. A gas-operated boat should be trimmed in such a way that when the gas or the propel tank is fully discharged, the submarine needs to be forced to submerge. In other words, she's slightly positively buoyant. It's the weight of the onboard propel that will normally make her run at her true running depth, which is just having the sail awash. But I didn't think about it. You know, I handed it over. It is my son's sub. I handed the transmitter over to him in the boat as well. I thought I had charged it sufficiently, but apparently I had not, because after it dove, we had no surfacings whatsoever after many attempts. Also, a Navy diver, they were having a chief's celebration of new chiefs at the base that day. A Navy diver who graciously spent an hour and a half scanning the bottom of the lake, and he didn't find it. But I think I know, besides the fact that I didn't properly check the trim, which I should have, mistake number one. Mistake number two is I did not follow my own rig for patrol checklist, which I've had for over 20 years. Shame on me. It's a detailed instruction put together from notes from the greats such as Skip, AC, Mike Dory, Dave Merriman, etc. I've always conducted this pre-underway checklist, and as a former submariner who loves checklists, I should have known better. But regardless, defecation occurs, and let's take a look at the model. As you can see right off the bat, it's got some growth on it, on all the surfaces. Plus, I see bubbling under the paint in certain areas. Okay, we have something similar to that in the 1-to-1 scale of recreational boating community, gel coat blistering. I'm not sure if it's the gel coat or just the paint. After 59 days, it could be either or, I'm sure. But it's also evidence on the cast appendages, so I'm not sure if that, gel coat in as much as it's just paint blistering. But this all is now Sub Eddie's problem. It's his boat. After we're done with this, I'm going to pack it up and send it down to him where the transmitter is, and it becomes his issue. So let's start taking it apart. Okay, first I'll remove, I haven't touched this at all, but first we'll remove the scopes, which are quite snug. Okay, I'm going to put them in with the rest of the scopes, which can be, like I said, he sunk it, he can do all the refurbishing to it. I just want to see how well my repairs held up. Put that aside and we'll take a look at it. Okay, as you can see, try to show it as best as I can to you guys. Okay, and let's open it up. Okay, as many of you familiar with the Small Worlds model, it takes a single screw to open it up. It's a standard Z cut where we'll access the internals. I thought I had a Phillips with a flathead brass screw here, but I think that morning was crazy and hectic and I couldn't find the proper screws, so I ended up using the spare I had in my kit. So here we are. Here's underneath. Okay, that actually doesn't look too bad at all, if you can see that. Okay, set that aside. And here we have the inside. Apparently she had lost her port puffs sonar array, which is easy to fix. Richard noticed that, put it in the model for me. And one lead weight that was loose. Now, first thing you notice, which created an animated discussion on the board, was the rust located here from the set screws. Now, these are supposed to be 18/8 stainless steel, as I purchased them from McMaster Car. So I can't understand why the ones here rusted, but not the ones on the rudder servo. So I'm suspecting that these aren't quite what I thought they were. The only other thing I could think was there was some kind of electrolysis going on in the lake, somehow affecting the battery, though I don't really see that since there's no direct, maybe through ground, electrical connection between the two. But we have evidence that these are rusty and the set screws for the rudder post is not. Also, I noticed that the rudder appears to be over hard, but the rudder itself isn't. So I'm not sure if somebody played with that, and I'm not going to mess with it. That's again for my son to figure out. Again, Richard cleared most of this part of the compartment, wiped it clean, and he saw no moisture, and I still see no evidence of moisture. He had turned the model upside down and there appeared to be no moisture at all. The only way to really test is give it a good pressure test, but again, we're just opening this up. So I'm going to go ahead and remove the pressure hull, and that's it. Okay, I don't see any indication that water had been in this unit at all, and none. I don't see any, because you know after a while you'd begin to get corrosion. If I'm having corrosion out here like this, I should be having corrosion inside. So I am gonna replace this hardware for him prior to sending it down. But look at that. Yeah, definitely. The rudder is hard over. That's its normal position. And when I pull it here, it's almost at the stops, and now it's rudder amidships. Something happened there. And it appears that the stern planes are very, very, very gummed up. So if anybody has any suggestions how to loosen them, I'll appreciate it. Other than I don't know, what would squirting WD-40 in there do for me? Would it attack the plastics and whatnot? So feel free to give me down some comments and suggestions what you guys would do. The stern bracket is pushed back quite a bit. Don't know what occurred with that, but the pressure hull seems good. So let me take this, lay this here, give you guys a good look at that. Okay. All right. As you can see, I'm going to attempt to show you this. The rudder hits the stops at amidships. You can hear it. That's not right. That has to be corrected. I'm going to put this with this here, and again, not my problem. It's the boys. Okay, put that aside. Let's take a look at this. Okay, first thing I think I want to do is just clean off the gunk off the top. Just quickly give it a wipe down, and then I'll open it up, you know, clean all this growth off it. Okay, and I'm just going to use a little alcohol. I have Kim wipes as well as a box of white rags, and we'll go through it quickly, give it a cleaning, see what we can. Again, leave the rest up to Ed. By the way, as a backup, because this section was damaged and I really don't want to mess with it that much, I had, when I installed it, due to the crack, you can see here, the crack had migrated into it. I did use some CA from the inside to prevent it from growing anymore. I also covered the top with JB Coldwell, but it had migrated through the O-ring area. So as a belt and suspenders thing, I did run a bead of RTV to it when I assembled it. This section should not need to be open that much. And well, when Ed gets it back, he should not need to open this section, because you know, accesses, you know, the battery on this side. Let's see. Okay, whoa. I don't know about you, but this is very interesting. I'm seeing what appears to be bulging here in the plastic. I don't know if you can see that, but there is definite bulging at this section of the hull. I have no idea what could have caused that, but we're going to take a look. Just for safety's sake. Rich said he did it, but there's absolutely no gas in the propel tank. I don't know what could have caused that bulging like that. There's a definite visual bulge. Let's see if I can show it here. Here and here. Okay. That's very interesting. I don't recall that being there before, or what could have caused that. No heat or anything down there. But again, let's open it up. Okay, I'm going to clean it. Should clean it some more. Okay, that's as far as I want to go with it for now. Again, the rest will be up to him. Many of you may or may not know this is self-amalgamating silicone tape. I used it very much on my sailing boat, and it works quite well in our hobby too. Many of you know by the brand name Atomic Tape. I use it just as an extra seal for you know, just as a backup, because I'm very much a belt and suspenders type of guy. So let's go ahead and remove that as well. And we're cracking the hull. Alright, I see nothing. No sign of water intrusion whatsoever. And here we go. Here's the big guy. Alright. Alright. Back with you now. I want to check the voltage difference between the battery pack that was in there, that's 7.6 volt, and the battery pack we took that day and ended up not using. So just kind of curious how far down that dropped while sitting down there all that time. So take a trusty voltage meter and let's see what we have here. Okay, volts DC. Okay, and first I want to take a look at the unused pack that has been sitting there since that day. And see what we get. We have 7.73 volts DC. So I would say that's fairly charged. I haven't touched it at all since we came back. I didn't give it a charge or anything like that, any floating charge. So I got 7.73 volts DC, and the pack that's been sitting there submerged this whole time. I mean, I see no signs of corrosion at all. Nothing. It was dry in there. So again, plus, minus, and we have 1.631 volts. That's 1.631 volts. So this thing may be fried. I don't know. By the way, on any of these videos, any comments, suggestions, anything you have to say, I'm doing something wrong, or you think I'm doing something wrong, you even feel like I'm doing something wrong, please post it down on the comments, because we're all here to learn together, and I certainly learn from all of you out there. But remains to be seen, those of you with more experience in the nickel metal hydride, because I'm a seal lead acid 12 volt person, but those with the nickel metal hydride will let me know if I can save this battery pack or not. I mean, it has been sitting there in a completely discharged state since today is the weekend before Thanksgiving, and it's been sitting there in a discharged state on an open circuit since the 10th of September. But I have I made up this unique battery charging system, and I have a Supernova 250S, so I hope that can recondition and bring the battery back to life. It's a neat little build I put together. I can charge any nickel metal hydride, an iCAD, or with the 12 volt power supply in there, as well as my 12 volt charger behind me, which is charging up a 12 volt DC battery. I can charge anything at home or in the field. It's very unique. little system I put together. Plus, it's a good 12-volt power supply to test motors, servos, or receivers and servos, whatever. All right, so we know that this is a dead battery pack. Let's quickly finish this up and get the rest of this apart. So you can see, I'm going to take again more of this atomic tape off. Okay. Okay. Let's see. I'm not going to go any more than just remove the battery compartment. The rest I'll leave up to my son. But I'm just kind of curious to see why it's warped in this area here. Okay. This will also have to be cleaned. And I'm sure Ed will be happy to do that. It doesn't seem to be any damage at all to the O-ring, to the surface as well as the O-ring as well. No water intrusion. Again, I hit that pretty heavy with my Ote silicone grease, and it seems to have held up quite well underwater. I mean, there's no signs of water in here, that there had been water in here at all. Okay, again, this all looks good. This appears to be, if I look at this right off, it is definitely in the blow tank. It's definitely in the blow tank condition. But again, why is this warped? It's warped here and here, and I have no idea why that is. I certainly don't remember it. I remember it being a clean line between that and this face here, but it's definitely bulged here and here. It's warped. I mean, but again, I don't know what that's going to be like, but he'll have to get in and clean this. You don't really have to take it that much apart that much further, because everything else seems fine. I would drop, of course, some lubricating oil in on all the bulkhead seals, but he's good to go. And once, of course, he has it, the electrical is hooked back up. I'm going to replace the set screws for him, but once he has it all set and hooked back up, he'll have to re-zero those planes. And that's it, and then she can go back to sea. But again, that's really, I just wanted to pull it apart and take a quick look at it, check it out, see if we can revive that battery. Again, any comments by you guys? The seal here, now that I got the atomic tape off, the seal here looks good. It looks good. I'm impressed. 59 days submerged in 8+ feet of water. And a bromide, it's not chlorine. Bill Lambing, who was kind enough to, who knows the lake quite well, was kind enough to point out that it is not, they don't use chlorine, they use a bromide solution in that lake. But she survived it. Anyway, again, this was a disassembly and a post-mortem of the watertight cylinder for the USS BLUEBACK. Dave Manley appears to have survived it quite well. And remember, to prevent this, you always have to remember your 7 P's. Prior proper planning prevents piss poor performance. And unlike me, may you guys always have your surfacings outnumber your submergings. Have a great day.